That happens to me all the time. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a get ready with me. I started off this look with using my Tatcha water cream moisturizer. I honestly love this stuff. It works better than a primer for me, so I'm just gonna rub that in until it gets kind of tacky, and then I know I'm ready for foundation. For foundation today, I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and I am shade Rich Chestnut. I love this foundation so much, and I use my Morphe E4 to blend that into my skin, and I just kind of buff it all the way in. One of the only things that I don't like about this foundation is that it doesn't have the little squeegee top, so I can't like squeeze it into my hand, and it gets everywhere. I mean, look. It's crazy, but the foundation is so amazing, and it's like a perfect match for me, so it works like a dream. So I'm just going to keep blending that out until I have it evenly distributed all over my face, and then we can move on to the next step. So now I'm just going to pick up my beauty blender, and I'm going to blend out the rest of my foundation. I use this because it kind of works as a great last step, and I can blend the rest of that foundation into my hairline where I couldn't really get my brush without getting foundation all in my hair. Now I'm just going to pick up my NARS Radiant Concealer, and I'm going to apply that all over my eyelid. Of course, I do not love the applicator on this concealer, but the color matches me perfectly, and I'm going to use my damp beauty sponge to blend it out. And if your beauty sponge is a little dry, just add a little Fix Plus, and that will bring it right back to life. And you can continue blending out the rest of that concealer because you're going to need this as a base for your eyeshadow. I'm just going to pick up a brush and my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm going to apply that all over my eyelid so I can set that concealer in place because I don't want it creasing on me when I get ready to apply the rest of my eyeshadows. With my Jaclyn Hill palette, I'm going to pick up the shade Buns, and I'm going to put that in the outer V of my eye and bring it over to the inner corner, and I'll use this as a transition shade for the rest of my eyeshadow look. I'm just going to use circular motions and windshield wipers to kind of blend that out. So now I'm going to pick up shade Chip from the palette on a pencil brush, and I'm just going to put that on the outer V, and I'm going to be really careful not to blend that over anywhere else, and it's going to give my eye a little bit of dimension, and it wasn't really giving me the look that I wanted, so I decided to mix it with the shade Jada, and I put that on just a fluffy Morphe brush, and I just put it right on top of that dark brown shade, and before I knew it, it gave me exactly the color that I was looking for. The next shade that I'm going to pick up from the Jaclyn Hill palette is shade Twerk, and I'm going to put that on the center of my lid, and I'm going to blend it into the dark shade that we created on the outer V of the eye. And I'm going to use their brush from the Rose Gold collection because I don't want to put too much shimmer on at one time. I kind of want to build up to it, so I'm going to use that brush, and then I will pick up a Morphe Firm shadow brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit more pigment to my eye. On a flat concealer brush, I'm just going to add my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer to the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to use this as like an eyeshadow base as well, to give the shimmer something to tack onto, and it'll just kind of brighten it up. So what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of make a little bit of a cut crease. You actually can completely skip this step altogether and just go straight into adding the shade Pool Party from the Jaclyn Hill palette. I just like to do this because I want to make sure that the shimmer shines and that it's there and it doesn't really move, and it just kind of has more of a metallic look to it, and by adding the concealer it does exactly that. And who wouldn't want your shimmer to stand out? You don't want to add shimmer to your eye and you don't want it to stand out. I mean, that would be pointless. Don't even add shimmer, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to pick up my MAC 242 brush and some MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to add the shade Pool Party. And I'm so sorry guys that I was a little bit out of frame here, but I was really just tapping in the shadow and I didn't notice that I was out of frame until I edited the video. But I didn't want to have to scrap the whole thing because it was some really good footage, so I'm just tapping that on the inner corner of my eye and blending all of those shades together so that it can all look like one thing. You don't want any harsh lines, especially when it comes to eyeshadow, because those are the things that people notice, I promise you. I decided to do my other eye off camera, that way I didn't have to bore you guys with going through all the steps again. So I'm just going to add some concealer under my eye, and I'm using the same Naked Skin concealer that I used on my inner corner. And I'm just putting that all over my eye. And then, because I was feeling like I was looking a little bit dry today after going through all those different steps, I just added some Matte Fix Plus to kind of bring me back a little bit of moisture into the face. And then I used my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, such a tongue twister, and I used that to help blend out that concealer with my beauty blender. I feel like you make the weirdest faces when you're blending out your concealer, but I mean, it works. You keep blending, and before you know it, you got it all blended out. I'm just going to add a little bit of my NARS Radiant Concealer to the center of my nose. I'm going to bring that up to my forehead and kind of do a little bit there. And I'll also make sure to do some on the top of my lip and my chin. This is just a way to bring all that highlight into the face, because you want to make sure that you highlight all those other areas so it doesn't look like you just have bright under the eye. You kind of want a little bit of brightness everywhere, and then use your beauty blender to blend it out. For contour, I'm going to use my Makeup Revolution concealer in shade C18. I'm going to apply that to my cheeks and along the edges of my forehead. And to blend that out, I'm actually going to use my foundation brush. I find that by using your foundation brush, you can kind of blend your foundation and your concealer together, or your contour together, to kind of just make everything look like one, and it just kind of creates the perfect shade for me. You can use an angled concealer brush. I actually ended up using a one in this video because my foundation brush wasn't really doing exactly what I needed to do, and I needed something a little bit more heavy duty. So I just picked up an angled Real Techniques concealer or contour brush, and I put that right on the top of my forehead, and that blended everything out exactly the way I needed it. And of course, I thought I needed to go in with more concealer, but I definitely did not. But it's fine because I can work that out later, and I'll just use my beauty sponge to blend that out a little bit more and kind of soften it up so it's not as harsh. And then sometimes once you add a little bit of blush to the face, you bring everything together. To set my face, I'm going to use my CoverFX translucent powder in shade Deep. And I'm just going to put that right under my eye, and I'm just going to use that to set the face. And obviously I had to dance a little bit in the middle of adding that. And you're just going to want to make sure to put the powder everywhere that you put your concealer, because you want to make sure that those areas are properly set, and you don't want to make a lot of facial expressions because you don't want to set a crease. But of course, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I just kind of add it and make sure that I'm not moving my forehead all around while I'm adding the powder to my face. But hey, I gotta dance, right? I just want to set my contour with in my Ulta contour kit in a fluffy brush, and I'm going to kind of be really sloppy with it because I'm going to go right under it with my Laura Mercier powder, and I'm going to make it a little bit more precise and kind of cut out the areas that I want. So this is a cool tip if you've added too much contour or it's just kind of all over the place. You add a little bit of powder under there, you can sharpen everything right up. I'm also going to add a black liner to the top of my eye, and this is one by NYX. I believe it's their Epic liner, and I'm just going to add that and then dust away that Laura Mercier powder from under my contour. With a little brush, we'll go in with the NARS Goule. I got it from a friend. She gave it to me. I think she got it for free at Sephora, and I'm going to apply that with my E4 brush. And so I just kind of smile a little bit or raise up my brows, and I add that right onto the apples of my cheeks and kind of blend it into that contour. That also helps to kind of make everything look well blended. I think that's the key to any makeup look. You want to make sure that everything looks blended together. with my Carbon Black mascara, I'm just going to put some mascara on my top lashes, and I'm also going to add them to my bottom lashes as well, but I'm going to leave that part out. And the same thing that I did to my waterline is I just added that light blue shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette, which is shaded Jada, and I put that under my eye. And now we're just going to add a little bit of highlight, because that is my favorite step. I put highlight everywhere. I put it on the apples of my cheeks, I put it on my nose, even my inner corner. So I'm just going to add it to the top of my cheeks first, and then I'm going to just blend that out because I didn't want it to be too crazy today. I don't want to be really blinding, and I do add it to my nose. Some people think that's weird, but I love it on my nose. It just kind of wakes the whole face up. And now I'm just adding that same highlight to the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to put the highlight down in the description box below, guys, and this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed hanging out with you guys, and I will see you guys later. Bye.